Hello, can people hear me? Yes, I think so. The mic's going. Hello everybody. I've just been enjoying seeing how you're all connecting already on there before the live. It's a nice sight for once. You know, I'm put together before I start the live, so that's nice. Let's just hope that the streaming quality at least stays, I don't know, decent today. Like it doesn't completely drop out like it did last time, hopefully. I'm already getting the yellow banner, but it was excellent at first, so I'm just gonna continue and hope for the best. Anyway, so also before I start, just let me tell you guys where I'm at with the translations. I have like 30 minutes left to finish from the July last month MewGulf check-in. So I'm almost finished that one, and then I'll go on to last month's monthly portraits. I kind of worked backwards because for some reason at the time I felt like it was more important to get the business partners reading out first. So forgive me if you didn't want to see that first, but it just felt more relevant at the time. So yeah, I will keep getting these readings out to you, and hopefully I will catch up now that I've got a new system working. Hopefully I will catch up with all the readings, translations, etc. before too long, and I'll have this month's out hopefully before the end of the month. This month meaning September, sorry, not August. We're still in August, but yeah, I'm talking for next month, so hopefully, fingers crossed, I'll be able to get things out to you faster this time. Anyway, today we are here to do the monthly check-in of August, starting with MewGulf. Has anyone heard about the upcoming adaptation based on Mame's universe that expands on the stories connected to the Tharn-type series? All I've heard is that Max, as in Max Tool, yes, is going to be playing the main protagonist, which is interesting. That's all I've heard so far. There's talk that possibly Gulf will be type again, maybe, because he is part of the storyline, but I doubt it. Somehow I doubt it. I don't think we can have type without Tarn, and I just don't think that's going to happen somehow. So, yeah, at least not now. I don't know when this project is happening. Maybe, maybe this will be the way they come back. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. I'll still watch it though, because it's just to hear the names again, to hear the name type mentioned will be a thrill, of course, but yeah, we'll see. Alright, hang on, let me change. Oh, that was a mistake, wasn't it? I should have changed the camera first. Sorry guys, I just pulled the cards out of the box. Adapted from the novel of the same name by the same author. Yes, Love Sand, that's right. Apparently it's Com. It's P-Com's love story. Is that his name? Com? I'm pretty sure it was Com. Type's childhood friend. It's his love story, so might even hear a glimpse named of Type's parents, because they are on the same island as Com, aren't they? So, in fact, they live next door, don't they? Aren't they the neighbours? So, even that. Anything connected to Tharn type is going to give us a thrill, let's be honest. Any connection at all. Any reference at all. I mean, we even went crazy. Remember all those times when the new series were coming out after Tharn type and they were using the same sets? And we're like, oh, look, the Tharn type set is in this series and that series. I remember that. We were like crazy. It didn't take much to get us excited back in the day. Anyway. Alright. So, this is the check-in. Whoop. Careful. This is the check-in for MewGulf, the monthly check-in for MewGulf. Hang on, let me make sure, sort of, yeah. Make sure they're up the right way this time. Alright. So let's get right into it. So, hello there, Intuit. Please tell us, what is the overall vibe of Mew Superset towards Golf Kanawat right now this month, please? We have one there. Can I get 2 more cards, please? And 3 cards or more, can you please tell me what Mew Superset's current vibe is towards Golf Kanawat? Has he been thinking about golf at all? Have they been talking? Have they been in contact? Yeah, I can't really say the other because that's the next reading over. I'll talk about that next time. Oh, Still, it's in reverse if you noticed anyway. One more card, please. At least one more card to start with into it. I need 3 cards. That's a basic setting. Just one more card, please. Alright, maybe I'll just have a look. The first card we got was, yeah, Ace of Wands. Then we got 8 of Swords in reverse. So, Ace of Wands. Big juicy Ace of Wands. Remember, guys? It's like the last time, well, you're going to have to excuse me. I'm a month behind even with my thinking a little bit because I've been working on the last month's reading. And it just so happens we had Ace of Wands in that reading too. And the word aphrodisiac is kind of sticking out to me right now because of that reading and where that reading went. But this card also says new passion for love and life, attraction, go for it, igniting desire, engagement, chemistry, and fertility. But then 8 of Swords in reverse, release limiting beliefs. Mental strength, it's up to you. Take back your power. Set free, escape, conquer self-doubt. That's good news. I went, oh, but that was because I thought it was upright at first. No, it's like finally Mew is starting to see he has a choice. So that's good news. Is that what this is saying into it before I get more into the cards? Is Mew starting to see that he could, that it is possible, he could be with golf? I got 2 cards there. This one came out first. The Devil. And Page of Cups. Alright. So looks like he's done the shadow work, and the grip that this current situation had on him is slowly dispersing or slowly evaporating. He's starting to see through the clouds, perhaps. One can hope. Starting to see through the clouds, starting to see there is a way out. There is a way to get what he wants, especially moving on to the Page of Cups down here. Romantic gestures, youthful dreamer, idealist, psychic inner voice, love offer, beauty, romance, messages, sensitive, spiritual, musical, artistic. Yes. He seems to be, if I can put it in a certain way, he's starting to open up to his more emotional side. His Pisces side there seems to be sort of letting go of the logical air Aquarius side for a minute there, perhaps. Yes. So this Page of Cups, love offer. Actually, it's interesting how this Page of Cups is Oh, well, you can see it, can't you? It's presented by a man playing guitar like that. Kind of reminds me of Mew a little bit because, well, in a recent interview, the other boasted about it, that he writes songs for him, but, you know, we all know how Mew has been since day one, that music is a way he liked to flirt, he liked to share his feelings. Remember that song he sang to Gulf, looking him in the eyes, singing about, you know, it's you, and what was that other one? One before his fan meetings and everything. It was a song like, I can't think of the title right now, but I actually did a video on it. On my channel, I had all the lyrics and everything for it, but I can't remember the title right now. But it was about, like, my heart is yours, or I'm listening to my heart, or something like that. In other words, you know, you're the one, was the message of the song. And he sang this. I mean, it was on a show, so it was for content. We can't deny that. But the eyes, the way he looked at Gulf while he was singing these words, wasn't acting. It just wasn't. And then, of course, you know, every time he would sing perfect. Everything. You guys know what I'm talking about. Even, you know, remember the when Gulf possibly spent the night, because we don't have complete proof that he did, spent the night at Mew's before his birthday merit. That little clip with no video was pitch black, where he was singing to someone who was breathing. You remember that? Yeah. Anybody gonna dare say that was Tool back then? No, I don't think so. Anyway. But, you know. We usually get 5 cards. Just thinking. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm a little bit of OCD when it comes to patterns. My OCD comes out, and I'm not using that in a bad way. I do have a case of it, just not a bad one. But yes, please give us another card. 3 of coins. Okay, so again, see, it could be that their first, what would you call it, reunion or public reunion will be through the guise of work. Could be that. But there's also on this card, doing it together, it says. So this could mean that it's not a one-way love offer, or a one-sided romance, anything like that, or there's only one person listening to a psychic inner voice. It could mean that both of them, both Mew and Gulf, are feeling it right now, are feeling that, you know, their time is coming, that they're about to have that reunion that they need, and whether it goes further than just friendship is yet to be seen, but, you know, synergy, active listening, yeah. Usually 3 of coins, straight away you think of collaboration and work, but this card makes me think just togetherness. Working as a team, but not necessarily work related, if that makes sense. Anyway, alright, so we've got our cards there. Let's bring them up on the screen and have a closer look. Would Mew and Gulf agree to make a cameo? Well, like I said, maybe that will be the way they come back, because it's always been hinting, ever since I've started doing readings, it has always been hinting at the huge possibility that the public reunion of MewGulf will be through some kind of work. So it's possible. Maybe Maine will bring them back together. Yeah, anyway, let's get the cards up and have a closer look. So Goldie we want, isn't it? Queen of Cups. We want Ace of Wands. Big juicy Ace of Wands, there it is. New project, inspiration, urge to create, willpower, desire, power, potential, beginnings, new opportunities, and growth. Yeah, so potential new beginnings, that's a big thing. New passion for love and life would come along naturally with a new start with someone, you know, lighting a spark, for example. Igniting desire, yes. Willpower, new opportunities, and growth. It will all come when they reunite. Because they won't reunite unless it's the right time, divine timing. And that can only mean that they would be meeting each other on the same spiritual level and would be ready to be the ultimate power couple, basically, if in that sense, or if they were only just going to reunite to be phenong or friends, then ultimate soulmates. You pretty much wouldn't be able to separate them after that, I think. But obviously, if they're not going to go towards the romantic way, then there'd be exceptions, and someone would have to not get jealous as well. So less likely to happen, I think, the second scenario. I think it's more likely the first scenario, but yeah, anyway. Alright, and then Eight of Swords in reverse. Eight of Swords in reverse. Self-limiting beliefs. Yep, that's what that said. Inner critic, releasing negative thoughts, opening to new perspectives. Self-acceptance and freedom. Yeah. So, like, opening up to the possibility that there's still a chance, for example. Stop feeling like there's no choice or like you have to go through with something. Suddenly it's like, wait, I don't have to go through with this. You know, I'm my own person. I can make my own choices. And if this is not good for me in the long run, then why am I doing it? You know, that kind of self-realization, that epiphany moment, you know? Yeah. It's good. That's a good sign. And the Devil. Well, we know what the Devil is, sort of, but I'll bring it up anyway. No, I was thinking the other day, just knowing this was coming up, like I would really love it if the quality of my streaming was good enough. Sorry, that's reversed. To be able to be more interactive with you guys. Like when I pull up every card, I'd ask you, like, what do you guys think? What do you think this card means? You know, because I really realize the more I watch professional readers, the more I realize that I'm not that. I'm definitely not that. I can't weave a story so flawlessly on the spot with just the cards. I'm only looking up the cards and their meanings and showing you. You're learning the same, you know, time as me what these cards could be saying. I'm only sort of like knowing just a little bit more, guiding viewers to, you know, where I feel the card is going. But in the end, it's up to you what the card means. And, you know, because I've been thinking, like, should I be getting better? Shouldn't I be getting better at remembering what the card meanings are and weaving them together and everything? But then I thought, well, no, because that's not my system. I'm not here to tell you exactly what the cards are saying. I'm not here to only share my, interpretation of the cards. I'm here to show you how you can gather your own interpretation of the cards. And sort of more or less to prove to some of you that, it's not all hogwash like some people think these cards. There is something to it. I mean, I'm not saying the spirit medium and everything is the way it is, but I am saying there's something. The universe has something connected to these cards the way they come out. They either come out by chance, which is what I believe, like if you're meant to see the card, it comes out, or they're just, I don't know, that maybe there is some sort of spirit behind it all that connects it, that every reader seems to get the same sort of roundabout reading. It fascinates me every time. And, sometimes more than others, I'll get shocked and I'll be like, oh my goodness, it really came out in the cards. And I just hope that those of you who do watch me for the right reasons, you're getting reassurance from these cards the way I am. You're not thinking that I'm just trying to tell you what you want to believe or something like that, because I'm really trying to make it possible that you can come to your own conclusion what these cards are saying. Anyway, enough of that. Let's get back on track, shall we? So, the devil. Shadow, self-attachment, addiction, restriction, sexuality, temptation, seduction, destructive behavior, materialism, codependency, and toxicity. Yes. So that coming after the release limiting beliefs could be his releasing the toxicity, could be his releasing that feeling of needing to be codependent, could even just be his releasing all those bad patterns he was holding on to. Or, like I said earlier, shadow self, like doing the shadow work. He's obviously done the shadow work to come to the realization that he has a choice, that he can do things. And this could even be, like, if you put to the side the idea that MewGulf are going to reunite and become lovers, if you put that aside, it could even just be that Mew is starting to see that he doesn't have to keep Gulf, that far away from him just because somebody else might be uncomfortable about it. If he wants Gulf back in his life, he can have Gulf back in his life. And whether it's a toxic person or some kind of business contract that has been keeping them apart up to now, there are choices around that of what they can do to, make it work for them. He does have a choice. Of course, sometimes choices come with dire consequences, but there's always a choice. And if there's somebody else involved, it's usually a mutual choice as well. So I can't imagine Mew coming to this realization about it all without Gulf sort of being in agreement with that, if that makes sense. And if they're going to do it through work, that's probably the safest way for them to come back into the light, because of all the haters and everything. It would be like we're just working together, and then they can work from that afterwards, after people see that connection they still have, that there's really no hard feelings or, sore spots between them, that perhaps people will be like, I get it, they're meant to be in each other's lives in some form. For those who really don't want it to be lovers, then, they'll at least come to the conclusion that, this person is actually good for Mew. This person, there's benefit to having this person in Mew's life, because look, well, I'm just talking hypothetically, but it'll happen. We all know it. Look how happy this person makes Mew. That's what happened when he first entered Mew's life. Do we all remember that? And before Waanjai were even born, the millions, Mew's fans, were praising Gulf, were saying this about Gulf, that he was the one who helped Mew to be happy again, brought the smile back on Mew's face, etc. So, you know, I have full faith that that would happen again, and it would only be the really toxic fans that would disagree with it. Alright, and let's have a closer look at Page of Cups. Page of Cups, creative opportunities, hang on, let me make that a bit bigger. Creative opportunities, intuitive messages, curiosity, possibility, happy surprise, dreamer, sensitivity, and new love. Yes, so intuitive messages also makes me think, you know, I tried to watch that interview again to see if there was even a hint of real feelings between those two, and I just didn't get it. The way they would, you know, well, in particular, the way Mew would, if anything sounded too intimate or too convincing, I suppose you could say, he would say something to, you know, just throw a dagger in that, you know, like blunt it out. Like, for example, when they were asked the question of who shows more affection, of course Mew was the answer, but then the other tried to say, well, I'm more affectionate these days, I do this and I give back massages. And what does Mew say? Well, I can't reach my own back. I was like, yeah, okay, like, you really need to justify that. You need to justify someone who you claim to be in love with. You need to justify that they can, you know, give you a back massage because you can't reach. You know what I mean? It felt, the minute he said it, I was like, oh, if the way the other was acting had me for a second there, because, you know, he looks infatuated and what have you, what Mew said definitely just threw cold water on the matter, you know? And it happens every time. There's a pattern. Look for it every time. Every time something like that happens, Mew will just say something that sort of just, yeah, gives you the doubt again if you were starting to get convinced. Not that you were, but you know what I'm saying. And then if you look at it from our perspective of what could be going on, it's almost like it's a come back to reality, you know, a wake-up call for anyone who's paying attention, anyone who might be watching, that, oh, no, it's not like that. You know what I mean? Anyway. But yeah, intuitive message I was saying was a nice. So yeah, what did I bring it up for? Oh, because he said that the other was questioning why Mew writes, you know, so many heartfelt love songs lately. He was trying to imply that it was because of him, but kind of the same thing happened. Mew threw a comment in there that, although to shippers it might have sounded like he was aiming it at him, he could have been aiming it at anything, because he said something like, that's not the only reason that I've been making so many heartfelt love songs lately. So yeah, it depends how you interpret everything, you know, as usual. But yeah, I'm thinking intuitive messages. Perhaps Mew is finally seeing it for what it is, that all these songs he's been writing while he may have been fooling himself at first that it was all about someone else or about something, some other thing that inspired him, it's most likely all been his original muse, if I want to call it that. And he's starting to see that now. I mean, even in last month's oracle reading, we were getting the signs of that word? Is that working now? Yes, I don't know why that happened. It disconnected itself. It did it the other time too. Can you hear me now? How long that's been going for? Well, when did I cut out? I think it was before I went out to her, wasn't it? It's too far to go back. Well, anyway, the recording should have it all, so it should be alright. We're up to... You can hear me now. Good, glad. Alright, so 8 of Cups I was just about to do. Disappointment, abandonment, withdrawal, escapism, walking away, and leaving behind. So again, escapism. The word escapism is used. Now, I was saying earlier, when you probably didn't hear me, I remember using the word escapism before that card came out, but I couldn't find it. It wasn't the 8 of Swords in reverse, because... oh, actually it was. I know what it was now. It wasn't escapism, it was escape. There it is there. I'm seeing it now. So it was the 8 of Swords in reverse, said escape, and then we got this card saying escapism. So it was pretty much just cementing the fact that the devil was here because Mew's starting to see from a different perspective. If I go back to the Ace of Wands and the Hanged Man here, he's seeing from a different perspective his current situation. I was just saying before, this could either be related to just his relationship with golf, as in he's starting to see from a new perspective this need to stay separate in the public eye, perhaps. He's starting to see that, if he wants golf back in his life, he can have golf back in his life, It doesn't matter, whatever's been keeping them apart up to now, whether it's been a jealous, toxic person or some kind of business contract, there is choice. And I was also saying earlier, I don't know if you heard me, that Mew was, really deep thinking about this. That's what the 4 of Cups would be showing us. He's really been thinking about it, going in introspection. Been really, thinking deep about it, of how he can possibly bring golf back into his life, and thinking, I can do this, I don't need to listen to these people or let them control who I can have in my life. I want golf in my life. He is special to me. Doesn't really concern, how special. I mean, even if we're not talking lovers, soulmates is a thing. You may just need golf in his life as a soulmate if it's not love. But lovers, I should say, because soulmates is a type of love as well. But for Mew to come to this conclusion with the Hangman and everything, I kind of feel like they've obviously talked, like Mew and Golf have communicated about it and somehow come to a mutual decision that this can be done. Because otherwise, I don't think Mew would feel so strongly that he can bring Golf back into his life if he hadn't spoken to him about it. Because especially if there's something like a contract involved, then to challenge this contract or this jealous person who's, been toxically keeping them apart, they both need to be on the same boat. They both need to want the same thing, which is what I said earlier. I think this 3 of Coins kind of points to them both being on the same boat, wanting the same thing. Anyway, 8 of Cups we were up to. I'm going backwards. 8 of Cups. So yes, disappointment, abandonment, withdrawal, escapism, walking away and leaving behind. Yeah, so Mew is seeing that there is a choice, that he can walk away from his current situation, perhaps, or that he can stop following orders to keep Golf out of his life in the public eye, perhaps. and death in reverse. Now this is the one that I was wanting to see the most. Death in reverse. Here it is. Resistance to change, fearing change, holding on, stagnation, decay, personal transformation. Okay, so while he does know that he has the choice to walk away, he is still hesitating. There is still fear there. As I said earlier, whether you heard me or not, Mew has to be careful about how he goes about this, because, to cause the least backlash possible from the world in the situation, he has to be careful how he orchestrates this move of involving golf back in his life somehow. So while he knows he can do it, he knows, he's not prisoner anymore to someone else's power, perhaps, and he's been thinking deeply about, he can have golf back in his life. He wants golf back in his life, but the devil in the Eight of Cups here is, strings attached. The strings are still attached. He knows he can walk away, but he's still feeling scared. He's still, he hasn't got the courage yet to walk away. And that could even be, the devil addiction. Could be, as we've said in previous readings, where Mew is quite comfortable with, all the benefits he's getting from being with Tool. The business benefits, the architecture benefits, if we talk about houses. Don't get me into that. I don't buy it. I think it's very coincidental that we're hearing all about this new possible house when they said they'd already bought a house, 2-3 years ago. And as someone pointed out on Twitter, like their parents both have houses, they also have apartments, and yet they try to say that they haven't got money. And also then coincidental that Golf stops talking about his house, and a little bird told me that there could be some approval issues going on with his house. That's all I'm going to say. But it could be that the house Mew is describing is one and the same with someone else's house as well. So it could even be, if we look at the whole idea of, this being with Tool is possibly just a cover-up story that everybody is in on. If you look at it from that perspective, then they're still very good friends, and Tool could be, really helping you with the architecture side of things, of, designing a house and possibly the interior of the house, and being that sort of business partner, associate for getting good deals and having connections in the industry and such. It could be something like that. But whatever it is that is keeping you attached, that's it. He's resistant. He's resistant to the change that needs to happen, possibly fearing it. This could also, if I think about the last time, as in the last month's reading, last month's check-in, it could even be that Golf is still going to present to Mew the idea that he's going to walk away. And perhaps this could be, if you look at it from that perspective, that Mew is thinking, yeah, if he walks away, I am okay, I won't be as lost as I think. I can manage without him. But then the devil, Eight of Cups and death, resistant to change. Oh, no, you can't walk out of my life. It could also be like that, which in that case, he's not spiritually awoken. It's more that he's feeling threatened, and you know, he'll desperately do everything he can to change Golf's mind, but then it's up to divine timing whether it's the right time or not. Like I said earlier, it has to be the right time, and they have to be on the same page, spiritually, emotionally. They have to, you know, want the same thing and be at the same level. So there's a few factors there. It can't just, love's not enough. That's basically it. Love's not enough. So that could be why possibly the Devil, Eight of Cups, and Death in Reverse are there too. Perhaps these two cards will tell us more though, because they came after. I remember when I was doing these cards, I was asking for confirmation about what these cards were about. So we concluded that the Page of Cups was going to be Mew realizing who he really loves, who possibly has been his muse for his love songs all along, and how much he really wants to work with Golf again, or be with Golf again, doing things together again. How he may make a love offer, may send a message. Maybe he's been getting intuitive messages, you know, a lot lately that he should be bringing Golf back into his life as well. So let's get some clarifiers for these cards. So tell me, Aquarius, why this Page of Cups came out. Is it like what I just said? Is Mew starting to see that Golf is a very important person in his life, possibly has been his muse all along, and wants that influence, that positive influence back in his life in a way that he can share it with the world? Is that what this Page of Cups could be about? We have the Sun and Eight of Swords. Eight of Swords again. The Sun, celebration, kinship, success, and Eight of Swords, self-restriction, negative thought, victim mentality. Well, that was not what I expected to come out for Page of Cups. I thought the Page of Cups was a positive thing, but this could be, since I went into a bit of a more negative side of these cards, what I was saying about his resistance to leaving his current situation, more so than the thing about Golf, more about leaving his current situation. He doesn't want to leave because he's still benefiting from it. Well, that's because he thinks, you know, he may think that his happiness and his success all depends still around money. It could simply be something like that. He's money driven. He's money driven, and he may also believe, you know, maybe if we go back to the idea of this toxic person keeping him away from Golf, victim mentality. He may start thinking, no, you know, there's too much at stake here financially. I don't have the freedom to move, he could be thinking, possibly. Or if it is to do with Golf, and the idea of, you know, Golf has just presented that, you know, I'm not going to just sit here and take this, I need to move on, and Golf, you know, has... Down, please! Golf is sort of presenting it to Mew as, you know, I have to do this, and Mew's, no, please don't. It could be that he's thinking, you know, his happiness revolves around Golf being in his life. He's going to be lost without Golf. That's what these two cards could be hinting towards as well. Like the intuitive messages could be telling him that, you know, it could be him as a divine masculine. You know, it's the worst thing for a divine masculine to hear that their divine feminine is going to leave them, because usually they're so comfortable with the divine feminine just sort of hanging on by a string for a long time, that when that string is finally sort of threatened, you know, that the divine feminine says, I'm going to cut this thread, it's the worst thing for them. You know, they feel so insecure, they feel like their life is about to be turned upside down, they just can't stand the idea of life without their divine partner. So it could also be going into that. And then 3 of coins here could be about, no, you can't leave my life here. You know, we'll work together again. We're going to do something together. I'm going to bring you back into the public eye as someone in my life. You know, that might be something he's offered to Gulf. So what about this 3 of coins here? Give us a clarifier for the 3 of coins, please, Aquarius. Is this about Mew thinking of the right way to bring Gulf back into his life so he can benefit from having him in his life again? 6 of Wands. Confidence, balance, recognition. Yeah, see? 6 of Wands is like the public card as well. You'll see in a minute when I bring it up. It's like you will gain recognition from the world, and you will be successful in what you do. So after the threat of Gulf possibly leaving his life, and then Mew makes the right move to bring Gulf back into his life in the public eye, he will be successful. Of course he will be successful, because all us Waanjai will definitely be behind it, right? But if we go back to the idea of leaving his current situation as well, so we're covering everything. If I go back to, like I said, he thinks he needs the money to be successful. And, you know, he thinks he has to go through with it. Then this 6 of Wands would be saying he thinks he has to do that because he's been accepted, you know, social acceptance. This would be going towards social acceptance. Social acceptance is important to me, and no matter how much he sings and says about, oh, I don't want to please the world, doesn't matter to me, only, you know, one person matters to me now, I'm sorry, I don't believe him. I don't believe him. The way he still sort of asks for social acceptance, the way they feel they have to prove that they are still together, the way, you know, they have to make such a big deal of their anniversary, posing pictures and everything, you know, it just makes you question, like, how real is this, that you seem to have to prove it. Who are you trying to prove it to? You're trying to prove it to yourself, or you're trying to prove it to the world? Because right now the world's already convinced, apart from a small group, the world's already convinced that, you know, you're together. So why do you have to keep proving it? Anyway, so that's 2 ways to look at it. Alright, let's get some Lenormand cards now to also give us further insight. Actually, oh no, leave it up there, it's fine. Alright, so hello there, little deck. Can you please give me a card or more to explain what this Ace of Wands and the Hangman is about? So possibly a spark was relit in Mew's mind regarding Gulf. He had a enlightened moment of new perspective on his current situation regarding Gulf Kanawat. So what are these 2 cards really pointing towards, in your opinion? Look at that, guys. Spirit. In other words, this enlightened moment, this epiphany, this new perspective that Mew has. Destined. Meant to happen. Definitely meant to happen. Could also be, you know, behind the scenes, what's not seen, things are not what they seem. That could be possibly him thinking, you know, about his current situation, how things are not what they seemed at first, or what he thought they were going to be. You know, they haven't turned out the way he thought they would. Perhaps he's even seeing for himself now. Perhaps he's been woken up, spiritually awoken to the idea that he is in a karmic relationship right now, perhaps, with the other. Or to the other extent that, you know, he is destined to be with someone else. Destined to be with Gulf, maybe. Alright, what about this Eight of Swords and Four of Cups? So he's been doing some deep thinking. The Eight of Swords in reverse and Four of Cups together, it kind of makes me think of the Hermit card, actually. It makes me think of the Hermit card of, you know, going deep within, finding the answer within, etc. So, Eight of Swords, Four of Cups. What are these two cards pointing towards, please, little deck? Is Mew really just thinking deeply? Yeah. Scythe. In this case, the first thing I normally think when I see scythe is cut, like cutting something or someone out of your life. But this time the first thing that came to mind was a decision. A strong or a sharp decision. He has to make a sharp decision. And he's been thinking about it very strongly. He has to make this decision. So like I said, it could be about how he's going to go about this transformation or not. Because he has to be very careful how he does it. Not just for his own sake, but also for other people's sake. Like if it's Gulf, for his sake. You know, not to bring retribution on him and his career, for example. Alright, and what about the Devil, Eight of Cups, and Death in reverse? Oh, that was quick. Ship. 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 This is like, well, yeah, ship. I've mentioned shippers a few times in the reading already, so I'm thinking ship, you know. He's thinking about how he can leave the current relationship, or, in fandom world, ship, the current ship that he is part of. How he can leave it in the most quiet, harmonic form, you know, like in the peaceful way, like in a way that's beneficial for all parties, let's say. And that actually came out in the last reading too, last month. It was about like Mew really wanted to come to a resolution with all parties involved. And this could be, you know, about just bringing Gulf back into his life to work with him again. So if there's the devil, if there's a toxic person who's trying to keep them apart, or someone who's really jealous and just can't stand them being in the same room, feeling too insecure about that matter, Mew wants to try and challenge that person on their thinking, and wants to leave that arrangement, wants to leave that agreement. Maybe I'll get another card, because there were 3 cards there after all. So the Devil, Eight of Cups, and Death in reverse. Maybe the Death in reverse. Can we focus on that? Can you give me a card for this Death in Reverse, please, little deck? Because that was the card that really kind of got our attention. Public. Garden. Yeah. So, like I was saying with the Death card, he's resisting the change, or resisting, you know, he's too scared to leave the situation as it is now. You know, he hasn't built up the courage yet, or possibly he hasn't come up with the right plan for how to make this transformation happen in the right way. And with garden here, I'm thinking that, you know, he wants it to be in the most peaceful way. He wants it to be socially acceptable. He wants to not lose his place in high society as a result, if possible. He wants to still have his supportive community at the end of it all. This is really why I think, you know, as we come to the conclusion of a lot in readings, that Mew's not going to be the one who ends it. It really does have to be someone else in order for Mew to come out of this, you know, less scathed, let's say, less scathed than he would if he just called the shots and said, "No, I don't feel like this anymore. I've changed my mind. I don't feel the same," and the engagement's off. Instead of doing that, it's better if somebody else comes forward first and says it. Better for everyone. Especially because I've said it from the beginning. If that is what happens, then, you know, that it's possible that he will gain more support for doing so than what he would if he let Mew take the blame. Let's see. This could also stand for the other way around, like I was talking about, if possibly Gulf is threatening to leave Mew's life for good, and it's destined because it's a move that has to happen so that Mew will wake up and, you know, spiritually awaken and be magnetized back to his divine feminine, if that's what they are. It could also be, you know, he could be worried how it will affect both him and Gulf when it becomes public news, you know, being socially accepted for what may happen afterwards. And then if you want to go in the more negative way, then if, like I said, it's more about Mew accepting that Gulf is going to leave his life for good and that he is okay without it, etc., then this could also be like he doesn't want to lose the support of possibly Waanjai. He doesn't want to be the one to have to break the news. And then in that case, instead of the other coming out and saying something about the end of something, it would be more like Gulf coming out and saying that it's the end of something. I'm trying to be really open today, you know, like really give you all the possibilities here. But I have to tell you, the first scenario is the one that sticks with me, which is that it's destined for me to have this moment of enlightenment, for him to start reevaluating his life and like what the hell am I doing, basically, and like really thinking deeply about how he can get this person back into his life, and how he can challenge this devil, this strings attached arrangement that obviously is keeping or making him decide to keep Gulf out of his life in the public eye. He's going to challenge that and bring him back in some form, because it's meant to be. Alright, and then what about the Sun here with the Eight of Swords. Can you clarify what these two cards are about? So this came after he was too scared to make the move to end things as they are right now. Is it because he thinks that his happiness revolves around money? Is that what these cards are talking about? Or is it more he feels that he won't be happy without golf in his life, if we go that way? What was the other scenario? Or he feels that with the public exposure as it is, he just cannot risk losing all that support. We got child. Success. So this could even be Mew, because this is negative thinking and victim mentality. This could be, as I also touched on in the last month's reading, this could be Mew just thinking outdated. Yeah, we were all that back then, but, you know, it can't be now. I've blown it. I've blown it with golf. I can't have it now. Something like that. It could be that. In that regard, with if golf does still, you know, as we say, threaten to leave Mew. Oh no, what have I done? Now I'm never going to be happy, you know. This person's leaving my life, but I have no choice but to accept it, you know. This is what I deserve, sort of like that. Or from another viewpoint, no, my current engagement has already been socially accepted. I just have to live with the fact that I may never have my own children, that I may never get to have a new start in the public eye with golf. Could be that. Yeah, no, I think that's what I'm getting from it. And then what about the Page of Cups here? Wait a minute. Eight of Swords came for the Page of Cups, did it? The Sun. They came out together, didn't they? Oh gosh, I have to go back and look at the video. No, they definitely came together. I remember they came together. So I didn't pull a card for Page of Cups? I don't remember clearly now. Anyway, leave it for now. So the Page of Cups. Please give us a card for this Page of Cups. Is this me thinking positively or negatively? Is he thinking that he can have a chance with golf again? Or is he thinking, is it more about intuitive messages that golf really is an important person in his life? Or is this about approaching golf with a love offer, or possibly a working together offer, if not that? What's this Page of Cups about, please, little deck? Bit of resistance there. Page of Cups. Youthful dreamer, idealist. Whoa! Okay. He's saying, just, you know, stop saying things there, Katerina. Now that's a lot of cards. Perhaps that's going to make up for, you know, the confusion I got there. Or maybe this is the deck itself telling me that it's confused because I couldn't give it a clear idea of what I was asking since there's only one card. Anyway, you've got all these cards. Clouds is the only one that I saw, which is confusion. And there's 5 other cards. What do you guys think? Should I... This is why I said I wish I was in real time with you, better streaming quality, etc. Then I could really ask you, but... Well, together with clouds there's 6 cards. So maybe... Maybe if I use 3 cards for each card here. Is that alright, little deck? Well, we'll find out, won't we? Something's telling me to split the cards, so I'm going to do it. So clouds here, along with birds and dog. Right. So there's a... He's getting intuitive messages that may have been confusing him, but now he's sort of gained clarity with these messages because it comes after clouds. He's gained clarity with these intuitive messages he's been getting. He's possibly talked to Gulf or talked to somebody about these messages, and the dog, possibly loyalty, talking about loyalty, who he's loyal to. He's possibly been getting intuitive signs to kind of prove to himself that, who do I really love? Who have I really got in my heart? Who am I really trying to protect by doing all this, even, possibly? Could even be this, you know. It's too late for me to have a new start with Gulf. Because this is what I'm doing it for. I'm protecting him. I'm trying to protect him by not being with him. He could be thinking like that. Alright, and then what about this 3 of coins here? So see what these 3 cards are and see if they fit. So 3 of coins. This, before I pull the cards over, we were going towards the idea that this is either, if he brought Gulf back into his life, he will definitely gain public recognition and success and support for doing so. Or the other option was that this 3 of coins with 6 of wands was about him thinking that he already has public recognition for the situation he's in. And he doesn't want to jeopardize that, possibly. And he wants to make it work. Alright, so what are these 3 cards? Stars, man, tower. Yeah. Stars, man, tower. Man, I would say, is Mew. And it's like dreams of working, his career. Socially acceptable with his work. 3 of coins. Maybe he manifests that if he does bring Gulf back into his life, that his work life will flourish. will still be good. He will not be alone. He will not be abandoned. And that could go both ways. He may manifest that he will not be abandoned by a huge group of people based on whatever he decides to do. It could be that way as well. If I try to put these all together, this could even be, because Tower is like a solitude sort of card, this could be that movement of going single again. Because as I've mentioned in readings before, it really would not be socially acceptable for Mew to jump from one relationship to another in the public eye. You would need time in between to sort of overcome. I suppose you could call it like a grieving stage for those who supported your last relationship, and then moving on, not moving on too quickly. Sort of like that. Yes. Honestly, they've kind of left me more confused this time. These cards have left me more confused. Should I ask something else? We started with Spirit, but now we end up with possibly, and this could be because he's still not ready. As I said, they can only reunite and be the ultimate power couple or soulmate pair if they are both on the same level of spiritual maturity. And if he has not awakened yet, if he has not reached that level yet, Mew, it's not going to work out. Could be why it ends up with clouds down here. And still dreaming, possibly. Could be that. In fact, you know what this could be? This could be, as I said, Mew was like thinking, I've blown it. That chance is gone. I can't do it anymore. But I still dream of having a life with you. Of working with you again. Of growing old with you, etc. Because that would really align with the reading we had last month as well. Can I ask you, little deck, to give me at least one more card just to conclude this whole spread? What's the conclusion of this whole spread, please? After that bunch of cards you threw me, can you give me just one card to sort of, as if this was a 9-card reading, we started with Spirit here. What's the conclusion card, please? Can you do that? What's the conclusion card of this spread? How is Mew Superset feeling towards Gulf Kanawat right now this month? The conclusion of this spread. Okay, it landed on Stars, Man and Tower here. It's only slightly on Tower though, if that means anything. We'll find out. Fish. Yes, so still that could go a number of ways. That could either be that what I said here about he thinks that his life still revolves around money, or it could be just this is such an emotional time for Mew. He's really had to think deeply about what he's doing with his life right now, who he wants in his life, And if Gulf is threatening to leave Mew's life for good right now, very emotional, as I said, it's the worst thing that can happen to a divine masculine if that's what he is. So, something I'm noticing here is the swords in this spread are not the positive swords. That's what I'm noticing. Eight of Swords in reverse is not negative as such, but it's still a very... It's based around negativity, let's say, because you're coming back from something negative. You're... Take back your power. But unfortunately, because of the cards that followed it, it didn't stay positive, if that makes sense. And then the Eight of Swords here, we're back to victim mentality. So it's a very emotional spread. He is overwhelmed with emotions, possibly. Abundance of emotions. And unfortunately, his logic side is like his worst enemy right now. Because his logical side keeps bringing him back to the devil, the arrangement that he has right now. The feeling that he has no choice, the victim mentality. Yes. Anyway, I don't think I can really bleed that spread any more than that. Do I need to put it up behind me? What do you guys think? Do I need to put it up behind me? What's the chat going on here? There's something going on with the chat. Hang on. This seems to be the real thing, so let me get rid of that one. Put it here. M is playing games with life. If something is over, do the right thing, be responsible, stop playing games. There are consequences for everything we do. True. In fact, there was a reading I just read for Aquarius. Well, not read, but watched. There was a clip just, on my local scroll, on my daily scroll on IG, was saying that, yeah, you just have to take responsibility for what's been going on. Take responsibility for what's happened. M is an extremely proud person. He has ego issues, which is why he needs constant approval. He remains focused on his own ego and materialism he never learn. He's also insecure. He cares what people think about him. Fans give constructive criticism. He takes it as attacks and whines about it. Yes, true. So while he may be having this hangman moment, an epiphany, etc., he still may not be fully, what would you call it, spiritually awoken, or what do you call it, arisen, spiritually arisen. So yeah, if it's not the right time, it's not going to work. That's the sad truth about it. But, all being said though, just, the fact that spirit, it started with spirit, means there's something, it's destined. It's definitely destined, or it's karmic. And with all the readings we've had leading up to now, there's always hope. So this might just be one of those moments. I mean, let's not forget they had to do that anniversary thing. They had to make a big deal of the anniversary just a couple of days ago. That could be why Clouds is here too. Could be, you know, confusion in the head because he had to act a certain way. And in order to act a certain way, you somewhat have to surrender to, you know, believing that you can be that way. So, if that makes sense. Well, though it wasn't convincing at all still, though. But, you know, I'm sure... I think the coincidences that happened surrounding this really... They're really obvious this time round that... obviously he's been talking to Golf. Or he's been in communication with Golf somehow. And he knows what's going on. It's not like it's being done behind his back. I mean, the fact that we're in the same hotel as what Golf is now on a front page of a magazine for. And then, you know, even the tattoo disappearing thing. Now, I'm still, you know, just because that's me, you know, I like to think from all angles. I still think that there's a slight possibility that it may have been something like blur action of why we didn't see it, because, I mean, there's no proof. There's no proof that it is there or isn't there, because there's no picture that clearly shows Mew's arm. So, because it was his left arm was the one that got tattooed, and that is the only time in that little clip, in that little video footage, that's the only time he shows that part of his arm bare. Just conveniently, in every other picture, every other pose, he's away from the camera. So it's like you can't prove or not prove it, which may be also a proof that he planned it as well. It could be that too. But as a result, you know, we can't really use it as plain evidence, because, yeah, just based on what it is, can't tell. Because I did notice, the first thing I noticed in that video was that Tool's big tattoo on the side of his torso also kind of blurred up and disappeared for at least a second there. The difference was that his came back into vision, into focus, not long after. Whereas, of course, we didn't get to see Mew's for that long. You know what I mean? So, like, Mew did a quick turn. It's like you saw his arm and then you didn't. So by the time that blur action might have ended, you might have seen the tattoo. That's the thing that I'm sort of holding on to in my mind, that, yeah, it's still very possible. It's still very possible. Because there's no proof, there's no full-on proof that it definitely wasn't there. We're basing it on a video that it was during a blurry moment. You can't deny that. It was during a blurry moment. And then before we can even focus the camera properly to really see, he moves again. He moves out of focus. So, yeah. It's not a... I'm not holding on to that one as much as I'm holding on to the one with the piano. The piano one is the one that really stands out to me, because it's like... Even if Mew didn't know that Golf was going to have a magazine cover of him standing in front of that piano, if he didn't know, people talk in the industry. There would have been some way for sure that Mew would have known that Golf had been there recently for a photo shoot of some kind, or for an event. It would have got around. And most likely before they booked the hotel. You know what I mean? So, it's either that it's planned in a way that looks coincidental, but it's not at all, or it really is, not so much a coincidence, but these signs being sent from the universe to specifically Mew of, this person. You still have connections with this person. You still have unfinished business with this person. You need to bring them back into your life, possibly. Anyway, kind of went off the rails with that, so I decided not to put this up behind me, didn't I? But the thing is, if I don't, I won't be able to make reference to it except for what's in my memory. Indeed. Yeah. Oh no, look, here's what I'll do. I'll just take a print screen, and then if I really need to look at it, I've got it on the computer. How's that? Okay? Because it takes too long to set the cards up. I want to, but it just takes such a long time to set up, so I don't want to do that to you guys. So, alright, let's pack these cards up and move on to golf, because also I need to get onto the Oracle too today, because as I said in the write-up, I have a new deck of cards to explore as well. So let's move along now and find out how golf is feeling towards Mew this month at this time. Let's make sure they're all upright. Alright, make sure I get Waanjai out for golf too. Alright, so, into it. Please tell us in 3 cards or more to begin with how Golf Kanawat is feeling towards Mew Superset this month. That is 2 cards. 1 more please. 1 more please. Thank you. Alright, so we have 10 of Wands, Strength, and 4 of Coins. Wow. Well, 10 of Wands, heavy load, brink of collapse, responsibilities, over the limit, overwhelmed, almost there, overloaded, done. The word done. Now remember what I've been saying. It's golf is done. Golf is going to say to Mew, enough. You do what you have to do, and you come and find me when and if you change your thinking, kind of. So he's done. But strength here, if we move on to strength, invisible force, gentle persuasion, compassion, confidence, courage, self-belief, infinite potential, personal power, influential, and wisdom. This could be, invisible force kind of makes me go towards that divine intervention sort of angle again, as if, this is all meant to happen. What's meant to happen? Mew's meant to have this spiritual awakening, and golf's also meant to, if they really are twin flames, then it's the normal thing for the divine feminine to get to a stage where they don't want to hang on by a string anymore. They are at a spiritual maturity level of being able to say, I will live with or without you. And that's where I think Golf is. And so this invisible force is like urging him to communicate that to Mew now. That, look, I can live with or without you. You need to get your act together, but I'm going to walk, basically. And you might even look at that as gentle persuasion because, well, I don't know about gentle, but it's certainly persuasion, because that is going to, as we said in the last month's reading, it's going to trigger Mew into action. Oh, no, you can't leave my life for good. No, I'll do the right thing. Just wait, be patient, I'll fix things, don't worry. It's going to be like that. And then here with 4 of Coins, material attachment, accumulate, scarcity, mindset, hoarder, conserve, possessive, creature of habit, tightwad. So this could either be the way Golf thinks Mew is, like I said in his reading just before, like he still thinks he has to hold on to that money aspect, like everything revolves around money. His financial insecurity, you know, he can't leave his situation right now, or the comfort zone of his current familiarity with the situation, because of how much is at stake financially, perhaps, in his opinion. And Golf could know that, and that's why 4 of Coins comes up. But it could also be Golf deciding to, all right, Mew, I'll give you another chance. I'll give you another chance, and I won't walk. Could be that too. Alright. This time I think I'll do the clarifiers before I get the next 2 cards. So what's this 10 of Wands about, please, Van Gogh? And then I'll show the cards together on the screen. 10 of Wands. Wow, hang on. How many cards is that? 1, 2. I got 3 cards here. Maybe this is a card for each. 6 of Swords. Well, no surprise there. That's an Aquarius card, and we've been getting that card a lot in our readings, almost as an identity card for Mew. So this could just be proving that, 10 of Wands is definitely the way Golf is feeling about Mew. And being the 6 of Swords could be the way he's feeling about Mew. He's done because Mew is still on that transition. The 6 of Swords is moving on to calmer waters. So this could be about, Golf's done waiting for that to happen. Waiting around for that to happen. And he himself is going to go on to calmer waters, with or without him. Okay? And then Strength, we have Ace of Cups. And 4 of Coins, we have 10 of Cups. See that? Strength, Ace of Cups. Ace of Cups is like a new love, proposal, marriage is what I remember from reading it so many times. So invisible force with Strength, as I said, divine intervention. Divine intervention could be what brings them back together in the end, because as I said, it might trigger Mew into action. And then 4 of Coins, hanging on and not letting go. As I said there, which it could be, instead of what he's thinking about Mew, it could be that Golf is going to give Mew another chance, so he's hanging on, and he's going to be happy for doing so, because 10 of Cups, it will lead to a 10 of Cups. Or he believes that it will lead to 10 of Cups. Okay. Alright, so let's get some of these cards up. guiding with Ten of Wands. Nothing reversed there too, which is good. Ten of Wands. Ten of Wands. Burden, extra responsibility, hard work, completion. Yeah, so done, completion, as I said. We've been getting the vibe from Gulf, let's say the last 4 weeks, that he's done. He's done and he's about to make a move, basically. He's about to let Mew know that he is done waiting around. And then Six of Swords. As I said, Aquarius. And transition, change, leaving behind, releasing baggage and moving on. So this could be either Gulf is done waiting for Mew to make the transition and to leave his current situation behind, or Gulf is done and is going to transition, move ahead to calmer waters, leave his thing with Mew behind and move on. So it could be either. Strength next. Courage, passion, subtle power, persuasion, influence, inner strength, focus, compassion. Yeah, so similar to what I said, except invisible force isn't there, but it's a sun card as well. We had sun, Mew had sun. Except his sun card was surrounded with negativity, wasn't it? But perhaps this is to say, you know, once again, Gulf still holds on to hope. He still holds on to hope that things will work out for the better, whatever the outcome. Ace of Cups. Love, compassion, creativity, new feelings, spirituality, intuition, new baby, proposal, marriage. Yeah, so this could be intuition. This could be that Gulf believes in his intuition, that he is being guided to make this decision of, you know, telling Mew that he's done. Could be that. Spirituality could also be that, as I said, this has to happen. This is something between twin flames that has to happen, this transition of the divine feminine threatening to leave for good, and then the divine masculine being triggered by that and sort of waking up and coming to his senses. And then resulting in Four of Coins, Ten of Cups. Four of Coins, Ten of Cups straight away makes me think like holding on to the hope of that Ten of Cups life. That's also what that makes me think just now. But hang on, let's go Four of Coins first. Four of Coins. Saving money, security, conservation, scarcity, control, frugality. It is an earth card. It could also be that Gulf is thinking that Mew's just holding on to that life of luxury and money with the other too tight. It could be that. But with the other cards, we won't know until we get the last two cards, really. But to me, it seems to be going more towards like he's just holding on to that hope that he's going to have a happy life, a happy Ten of Cups life in the future, with or without Mew. With or without Mew, but at the moment he's giving him a second chance, possibly. And then Ten of Cups, so you can see Ten of Cups. Family, kids, you know, it's all there. You have it all with the Ten of Cups life. Divine love. I mean, it starts with divine love. We've been talking about the defined partners, haven't we? Harmony, blissful relationships, alignment, inner happiness, fulfillment, dreams come true, family contentment, total love and support. So yeah, he's holding on to the hope. He's holding on to the hope that one day things will align the way they're meant to, and he will have the chance to have a Ten of Cups life with someone. If not Mew, someone else. I'm kind of getting that coming through to me now here. It's just like, it doesn't have to be, because he's choosing to, like, he's going with or without Mew. That's kind of his mindset right now. He's at that point where he's at with or without you. Okay. Intuit, can you give me at least 2 more cards here? Are we on the right track here? That Gulf has communicated or is going to communicate to Mew that he is done waiting around for him to make this transition to calmer waters. He's going to do it himself with or without Mew. And he wants to believe in divine intervention and that, you know, things will work out if they're meant to be, if they are destined to be together, things will work out, and he's holding on to that hope of a Ten of Cups life if things are meant to be. Is that what these cards are saying into it? Please give us at least 2 more cards to add to this spread, to shed some more light on how Gulf Kanawa is currently feeling towards Mew Superset this month. What's to follow the Ten of Cups here in regards to Mew Superset? That one. You see that, guys? These 2 cards kind of stuck out and refused to go back in. So I'm going to take those, because it felt like it's going to take a while to get cards otherwise, so I'll do it that way. Alright, so what have we got? The Devil, Queen of Swords. The Devil and Queen of Swords. Well, we know what the Queen of Swords is. That's Tull's card, basically. And the Devil. Alright, let's get some clarifiers before I say anything else. So, please tell us more about what this Devil card is about. Is this about the toxic attachment that Gulf knows Mew is involved in right now? 6 of Cups. Something in the past. Did I see a flip there, though? Thought I saw a card then a few minutes ago. No? Okay. Just my imagination. Alright, so what about this Queen of Swords? This is like Tull's card usually in readings, so is that what this card is referring to? Is this referring to Gulf thinking that Mew is still stuck in the other situation? Strength. Okay. Well, it may not be, you know. Could also be that this is how Gulf is thinking as well. It doesn't always, the cards don't always have to refer to to the sign they are affiliated with. But right now I'm getting he's holding on to the idea that he can have that Ten of Cups life with Mew, but he's not going to accept any of Mew's offers half-heartedly. It's like Six of Cups here with the Devil is kind of making me think there have to be no strings attached. There were strings attached in the past, and he doesn't want to accept that anymore. Queen of Swords here, mentally strong, candid, quick-witted, fair, inner strength, direct, chatty, realistic, quirky, and sharp. So it's like, if we say that that's how Gulf is feeling right now, then he's basically putting down he's putting his foot down and saying no more. No more of this half-hearted, strings-attached arrangement. You need to make a decision. You either want me in your life or you don't. Public, on and off screen, let's say. And that's him saying to me, you know, I've had enough. I'm done. I'm done with this secret life behind the scenes. I don't want this anymore. And as we said, it could trigger Mew into action. But this is like Gulf saying, you know, it's Gulf saying his terms. He's not going to accept strings attached anymore. And possibly strength here. This could even gently persuade, this could be to say he'll gently persuade Mew or trigger Mew to cut ties with the Devil, with the karmic toxic relationship he might be involved with, and have the strength to make the decision related to this Virgo Libra cusper over here, Tull in other words, and leave. Could be that too. Let's get the cards up. Six of Cups. I follow another reader, Bronze Tarot, who is also great, and I was happy to hear that he is doing well and finally moving forward. That is what I see here. You're talking about Gulf? Yes, I saw that reading too as well. Bronze Tarot is wonderful. I follow her too. I tend to put a big thing in the comments about relating it to MewGulf. I've done it for a little while now, since I first started following her, and she likes to see what I get out of the reading. Anyway, Six of Cups. Familiarity, happy memories, reminiscing childhood memories, innocence, joy, and nostalgia. Perhaps this could even be, if you go back to the idea that Gulf is saying he's done, he's moving on. He's still holding on to the hope that they can have a Ten of Cups life one day. But this Six of Cups with the Devil, he's not going to let, you know, the temptation of looking back and reminiscing of what was with Mew in the past is not going to stop him from making this move. That's what I'm getting here now. It's not going to stop him. He's not going to be easily persuaded this time. He means business this time. He is going to walk, unless Mew does turn around and do the right thing with this second chance he's possibly going to give him. Which may not be straight away. Like, he may beg, go, oh no, please don't leave, you know, give me more time. I'm don't do this to me. Don't leave my life. I need you. I can't be without you, etc. may all be, good and well at the time, but I mean, think about, in fact, ironically, think about that scene in Fan Type, where where Type leaves Tarn because he's got a mission. He's on a mission to prove to Tarn about his so-called best friend, how he's being played, etc. And so he has to pretend that he really does feel betrayed by that setup scene beforehand and leave Tarn the way he did in Tears. Could be something similar to that, Gulf they may have been getting along just fine, in the background, behind the scenes, but, maybe Gulf's just had enough of having his real life be one thing and it being portrayed as another in public, in particular with, Mew parading around with the other, and he's just like, I've been thinking, Mew, but I've had enough of this. I don't want this. I want to be happy like you claim to be with Tu. I want to be happy. I want to be able to share with the world, when I feel this happiness. So, I have to do this. I have to do this for both of our sakes. And him doing that could trigger Mew into an immediate, like Tarn begging him not to. But Gulf is going to have to be strong and still walk out that door in order for the proper spiritual process to take part. Because, let's be honest, if you can be talked into changing your mind about something really serious like that, it's not really, it's a sign that you're still not as mature as you think. Because, as I've said, with twin flames, there has to be a moment of separation. There also has to be a moment of, like, the divine feminine walking away, separating, enough that the divine masculine feels that absence of them. That they actually feel the absence of this person in their life. And that's when they get triggered that, no, I really can't. I can't live without you in my life. Because with the person sort of in their life, strings attached, like just hanging on by a string, then the divine masculine is comfortable because they're still there. They may not be, fully present in their life, but they're still there. And they feel secure that they're never going to leave. But then when that person does leave, that's when the divine masculine is like, oh, no, this is no good. This doesn't feel right. I can't live without this person in my life. And that's when they start becoming like the runner, because you've got the dynamic of the runner and the chaser. So, like, it's almost like you could say Gulf has been the chaser for a little while up to now, and now he's decided he's just stopped. He's stopped chasing, and as a result, Mew has stopped running. That's sort of the possible phase they're in right now. And then now, with Gulf saying, no, I'm going to walk, it's going to make Mew become the chaser. And only then will they meet somewhere in the middle, because then, Mew will chase for a while until Gulf decides that he's fully ready to, reunite and meet on the same level. And only then, in divine timing, will it be the right time and will it work out. So that could be what these cards are talking about as well. It could be that just Gulf has to remain strong about this decision that is already made to possibly, show Mew what his life would be like without his support, without his presence. What his life would be like without it, possibly. Lenormand. Okay, so little deck, can you give me a card to say what this Ten of Wands and Six of Swords is about, please? Ten of Wands, Six of Swords. Look at that. So we've had mountain, obstacle, big problems, snake, lies, deception, and clover. Those cards almost make me think Golf's been putting up with, you know, this problem, this trouble for a long time. He's been putting up with all the lies and deception being spread. And he's been gambling, because the clover here can be like fleeting luck or gambling with your life. So you could look at it as he's been gambling with his life, letting Mew sort of do this. But he's starting to, it's becoming too much of a problem now. So much that he wants to stop. He's done. He's done with this way of living. You can also say, with the snake here, this could be like referring to another woman. So, not another woman, but another person, another relationship, third party. So this could also be that the problem has been Mew with the other as well. Alright, what about Strength and Ace of Cups here? Gentle Persuasion was something that really stood out after everything, and the Invisible Force as well. Like I said, I'm a strong believer in the idea that they are twin flames, that it is destined, that there is something going on beyond anyone's control here. So give us a card for why this Ace of Cups came out with strength, please, little deck. Is this about Golf being strong, about his decision to move on, about his decision to try and live on without Mew? Mice. Strength, Ace of Cups. Mice. That could be courage. Courage and infinite potential could be becoming less and less for Golf regarding his relationship with Mew, which is why he's choosing to walk. He can't, right now he can't see it working out. See, this is what I said in my other reading as well, and I keep saying, is also, if Golf does choose to tell Mew that he's had enough, he's done, it's not because he hopes. He's not doing it in the hopes that Mew will turn around and say, no, don't go. Or that Mew will actually do the right thing, turn around and work things out. It's not like that. This only works properly when a divine feminine has reached that spiritual maturity of self-realization that they can live with or without their divine masculine. That is the only time that it will work properly. And so by doing that, that's like, it's not that you're falling out of love or anything. You still love them deeply. You still love them. But you love them enough to realize that love is not enough. You love them enough to realize that love is not enough. And that you're kind of doing damage to both of you. And also, you love yourself enough to know that you deserve better. Not that you deserve a better person, but that you deserve better. You deserve to be treated better. So, mice here. This could even be like gentle persuasion. This could be Gulf just giving up on trying to gently persuade Mew to change things. Could even be looked at as like that. Yeah. Anyway. Oops, sorry guys. I can't really see mice any other way for that. Of course, Ace of Cups. Child, proposal, new love. That might just mean that Gulf is not going to open up again for a while to any idea of being in a relationship with someone, perhaps. Could also mean that, like I said, if Mew does immediately say, oh, no, don't do that, you know, I'll fix everything, just bear with me, I will do the right thing, this card could mean that Gulf is just going to stay strong and reject it first. You're going to be like, no, I'm done waiting for you. Maybe I'll pull another card. Can you possibly give me another card along with this mice card, little deck? Because after sneezing, I'm just feeling like a little bit confused here. Could you possibly give me one more card to clarify what this mice card might be referring to here? Is this Gulf losing courage? Is this Gulf rejecting Mew's offer? Immediate offer after telling him his feelings? Or is this Gulf starting to lose hope, but then deciding to hold on anyway? Whoa, look out. That's too many. That's way too many. But without looking at the cards, I can see the numbers, so I know what they are. The ones that are showing. So, yeah, maybe I'll just take those. It was that one, and try and do this. Good, it's still the same. Okay, so, yeah, that one, and that one. So it was number 30, 25, and 16, which is Lily, Ring, Stars. So that's like... that's like he's deciding he needs to walk in order to have peace of mind. He needs to He needs to walk away from this relationship and leave it up to destiny. He needs to stick with his wise decision to walk away and leave it to destiny whether they will be together or not. Does that make sense, guys? Starting with mice still is kind of throwing me off, but no, I think it's more like, with the Ace of Cups, new feelings or a possible new start. A new start is not happening. And so because of that, he's sticking to his mature decision to leave this relationship to destiny. He's handing the cards over to destiny. He's not fighting anymore for what he believes in that regard. He's going to just let things be. Whatever will be, will be. That's what that tells me. He's still got hope, but he's not actively fighting for it anymore. So, 4 of Cups and 10 of Cups. Can you give us a card for 4 of Coins and 10 of Cups? So Gulf is still obviously holding on to the hope of this 10 of Cups life with or without Mew. What card can you give me for these cards here, little deck? So the cards before, he's sticking to his mature decision to walk, and he's leaving it to the stars, to the universe, to destiny, his relationship with Mew, but still holding on to that hope for a 10 of Cups life, dreaming of it, manifesting for it to work out one day is the key. All right. And what about this 6 of Cups and the Devil here? So is this, as I said, is this about Gulf not being tempted by looking back and reminiscing on how happy they once were, on what they did have in the past, not being tempted to change his mind about walking away, this decision he's made, by looking back and reminiscing? Rider. Devil, 6 of Cups. Rider. This might be not letting current news or recent news or even him returning to his life, like trying to possibly visit him or something, not letting that deter him from the decision he's made, possibly. Rider could also be looked at as like keep moving forward as well. So again, it could be like don't look back. Make your decision and don't walk back. Walk out that door and don't look back. That could be what the message is there. You know, just the way Type did with Tarn, as I said. You just walk out the door and don't look back. For now. We all know Tarn and Type still end up together, so, you know. We're not saying for good here, by any means. Alright, what about the Queen of Swords here with Strength? In my opinion, this combination signifies emotional healing and deep peace. I'm happy for golf. Yes, that is what it can mean. Emotional healing and deep peace. Golf is at peace with the idea that he will continue his life with or without Mew. So this Queen of Swords and Strength card. So this is about Golf having to hold his ground and stick to his decision. Sun. I'd say this is about clarity. Clarity and remaining focused. Don't let this deter you from the clear decision you've made, and you'll be happier for it, I believe. Yeah. Okay. So I think as a whole, this spread has just confirmed what we were saying last month. That Golf is at that point that he's done. As the card said, he's done. He is going to walk. And then it's up to Mew. It is totally up to Mew when and how a reunion would come about. Now, if I look at this from the viewpoint of what some people believe, which is that Mew and Golf are still together, this might still be true, you know, just that Golf suddenly says to Mew, look, I'm not okay with this anymore. I need you to make a decision. I need you to choose me wholeheartedly, because I'm not happy being a secret anymore, or I'm not happy with the way things are anymore. It's becoming too toxic. And yeah, it might just be a period of separation. While this may happen, it doesn't necessarily mean that signs will stop. It doesn't mean that both will be in isolation, that we won't hear from them, because of course they have their jobs and their schedules. It just means that whatever was happening behind the scenes, them meeting up, etc., may come to a halt temporarily. We may still see signs, because, well, if that's the universe doing that, it's not going to stop. If that's someone doing it for business tactics, that's not going to stop either. The only time it would stop, if that were the case, is if there were actually a public announcement to say, cease all shipping, cease all fan support for these two people together, no longer want their names affiliated with each other, etc., which just will never happen. We know that. So yeah, I suppose I'm saying, like, as much as we want to wish that things are all really great behind the scenes and, you know, everything like that, this spread is clearly showing that it's not. There is something going on that we don't know about. And clearly this spread's showing that Gulf has had enough of it. Alright, let's move on to Oracle now. Oh, hang on a minute. Wait a minute, that was there. That was there and that was there. I'll just take a screenshot before I move on. Okay. Of course, with the Queen of Swords down here and the Sun there, that could have also meant that Mew will see the light. There could be tapping into that side of things. But more or less this whole spread was focused on Gulf. And even though it was about how he's feeling towards Mew, it's more about him. It was giving the vibe it's more about him now. As you said, emotional healing and moving on. It's the vibe I'm getting. Let's just hope that if it is temporary and Mew can do something about it, that he does sooner rather than later. Which it looked like he was going to. It looked like he was starting to see he had a choice. It was just that he was still scared. But hopefully, you know, this scared is also possibly because he's scared that Gulf is going to walk. And that might be just enough to scare him into action, trigger him into action. The right type of action. Alright, so this is the new deck of cards. I kind of want to start with this. It's already 5:34. At this rate, we're not going to get to the other two. No. We'll try and make it quick, the Oracle reading today, because I think the tarot reading kind of was thorough enough as well. I really just want to show you guys this new deck more than anything, because especially because we're talking about cycles, karmic cycles, divine timing, etc. Feels especially relevant. Now, I have not seen even a handful of these cards. I really don't know what to expect from these cards. It seems to be just one of those sort of cheap sets. It's not a special. I actually bought it by accident. I'll be honest, I bought it by accident, but I thought, oh well, it may be just what we need. So, just thinking, should I take from the top or should I take from the other way up? Probably best I take it from this side, isn't it? Because then I don't see the next one. So, new deck of cards. Time and Cycles Oracle cards. I have to think of a name for it too. Anyway, for now, time and cycles. We'll just call it time and cycles. So time and cycles. Please tell us where, starting with Mew, please tell us where Mew Superset is at with his current life right now regarding Gulf Kanawut. Winter. Cold. Almost giving me the vibe of left out in the cold. This is a deep hibernation beneath the cover of ice and snow. Immense energy is secretly gathering. Ooh. It's also talking about, gives the vibe of what you can't see, things happening behind the scenes. Like, I think I mentioned earlier in the reading about, well, it was said on the card, invisible force. There's something going on, like, you know, divine intervention beyond anybody's control. This kind of gives that vibe as well, like it's all happening underneath the surface. Can you go, hang on, I don't need to do that, do I? Because you can see it that way. Can you see it? Can you see that, guys? Hang on, can I bring it close? Ah! How do I get it closer to you guys? Oh, there we go, there we go. Okay, there's the magic spot. You can see the picture there, how it's sort of like there's all that energy in the tree roots happening underneath the cold ice. Interesting. And the question was this regarding to Gulf. I made it clear. Where was he at in his life regarding Gulf Kanawut? So to me, this is like it's all happening. It's all happening underneath the surface. Okay? And what about for Gulf? In comparison to that, where is Gulf at with his time and cycles in life? Where is he at in regards to Mew Superset? Wow. Guys, I have no idea what these cards are, as I told you. And these cards are like so mind-blowingly relevant to what we've just been getting in the reading today. Autumn here. Hang on, I'll put it up there and I'll read it on the screen. So autumn here for Gulf. Do not persist in clutching that withered leaf. Peacefully await the new gifts destiny bestows. Just the wording, destiny bestows. This is like confirming that Gulf should let go. You do, as we just said, he should go through with this plan of telling you that he's going to walk, moving on, and peacefully await for the divine intervention, you know, for destiny to take control, to make happen what will happen in the future. Leave it up to destiny. Leave it to the universe. You know, give up the fight and let destiny take over and see what happens in the future. How cool is that, huh? Wow. That's... Now, I didn't shuffle the cards because, like I said, I have no idea what these cards are. I don't... If there's an... Winter, autumn. I wonder if that means that... Well, let's have a look. Let's have a look. I'm going to have a look just to see if the next two cards are, I suppose, spring, summer, or summer, spring, whichever order they come in. If they are like that, then maybe I'll shuffle them before we pull two for the other ones later. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, summer, spring, yeah. There you go. But still, I think, you know, I didn't know that Seasons was on top. I didn't know what was coming in those cards. And these two cards just fit so perfectly for our reading today. So, yeah, I think that's still relevant. That's pretty cool. Anyway, let me shuffle these cards now. Ooh, careful. Shuffle these cards now. And one more shuffle. Okay. The oracle readings. So, here we are. I'm not going to pull too many cards today because, as I said, we need to get a move on. One card or more, please, Oracle. One card or more, please, Ebony, of how Mew Superset is currently feeling towards Gulf Kanawha. One card or more, please. However much you want to reveal to me in one shot, because I'm only going to be doing one shot. The Phoenix, new phase, rekindle, renew, transformation, growth, changed mind. Seems to, that's winter for me. Seems to connect, I think. Alright, at the same time, Ebony, can you also give me one for Gulf, just to save time? Can you give me a card or more for how Gulf Kanawha is currently feeling towards Mew, please? Photograph. Looking at your photos, missing new nostalgia, make new memories. Make new memories, probably, for going with everything else. Sort of like, we'll keep this love in a photograph comes to mind with that. And that's possibly why in his reading the Six of Cups and the Devil were together, to say don't let that tempt you to not take this move. You can reminisce and look back on the photos, but don't let that stop you or change your mind. Possibly. Alright, and then let's move on to Ivory. I won't do it like this usually, but time, you know, because I'm aware of time right now. So, alright. Ivory, what can you add to this spread? So the Phoenix, thank you very much. You know I'm in a hurry. You're so special. So as you can see here, Mew is just starting to rekindle his feelings for Gulf and starting to see how special he is. But he's still being held back with the situation as it is, don't forget. So, because that was what was being said in his reading before as well. So, the realization of how special Gulf is in his life is there. Now he has to act upon it. Alright, and what about Gulf? This photograph, is he reminiscing and looking back at all the happy times he had with Mew, but still ready to walk out that door? Is that what this card is about? He's ready to make new memories and not letting the nostalgia of looking back and reminiscing stop him from making this strong decision. Ooh. Give me one card or more for how Gulf Kanawha is feeling. Okay. Attached to my ex. Wow, it's like, yeah. Attached to my ex. Well, this could actually be, it says, I need time and space to break this connection. That could be what Golf is thinking as he walks away. It could also be that's what he's thinking about Mew, that he needs time and space to get his act together, basically. And then wild side, there's a side to you I haven't seen and I want to see you let loose and get wild. Let's have some fun. Well, that could be make new memories. It could be he wants Mew to get his act together and hold on to the hope that they will have time together in the future where he can see him let loose, get wild, and have some fun. Possibly. Alright. I think I'll be happy with that. And lastly, just to sugarcoat it all, how does Mew Superset currently feel towards Golf Kanawat? Please, Ombre. There's a lot of hidden feelings coming out, possible realization of true feelings happening behind the scenes and underneath the surface, according to these cards for Mew. How else does he currently feel towards Golf Kanawat right now? Whoa! Oh. Alright, well we have, I wish I could feel your body close to mine. And these are the two. I still feel so attracted to you. Connect to me telepathically through meditation. Wow, okay. Well, connect to me telepathically through meditation could be connected to, like we said, he's getting those intuitive messages. So I did say it earlier, didn't I, that maybe both Mew and Golf feel like they're getting telepathic messages from each other. They're feeling each other more these days. I still feel so attracted to you could be after Mew has looked back and seen, realized just how special Golf is to him. I wish I could feel your body close to mine. Well, that's when they're not together. So that could be possibly the feeling after Golf walks. Alright. And then what about for Golf? How does Golf Kanawat currently feel towards Mew Superset, please, Ombre? What is his current feelings towards Mew Superset as he decides possibly to walk away? You are my light in the darkest times. We both still need more time to heal and grow from it. That's very relevant. And I've been working on my self-love and self-worth. Of course you have. Self-love and self-worth is what has, as I mentioned earlier, he loves himself enough to make this decision. Possibly even if, like I said, if they really have been seeing together behind the scenes all this time, this Golf suddenly decides, I'm not okay with this anymore. Or it could be that. Alright, print screen. I'm going to pack up. And I will switch to the other two when I'm ready. In the meantime, as I said at the beginning of the video, I am still working on all the translations, etc. If any of you watching now speak another language and you see people, consistently asking me to translate in their language, like if you speak Turkish, Spanish, what's the other one? Turkish, Spanish, Portuguese. They're the most frequent requests I get for please translate, please translate, please translate. But if any of you can speak those languages, or you know some of the people who are asking, please feel free to give them some spoilers, just to like edge them along until I can fully reveal things, because it's very hard. I don't know if any of you have ever done like proofreading of a novel, or having to spell check an essay or something like that. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of time and effort, and especially when you're doing one after another, it gets really like overwhelming, and I go through these periods of what do you call it? Just over it. I'm over it. I've had enough of it. I don't want to do it anymore. Quite often. So, I am sorry that it takes so long for me to get things out. I mean, this time round, the interruption has mainly been because of the system letting me down, and I've had to kind of rearrange my whole system to suit that. But I have got somewhat of a system working now, that I don't have to rely on YouTube anymore, so that's good. But it still takes a lot of time. It still requires me to not only spell check the words, but then to also watch the whole video through while checking every word is correct and timed right. So that's also a time-consuming part of it. So it just takes time. It takes time for me to get these videos up and ready, all subtitles and all. And I appreciate everybody's patience with me, but I see you guys constantly telling me, hurry, please translate. I'm waiting, please translate. It's just, I'm only human, and I'm only one person, so it's hard. I'm also a mother and a wife, and I do have a life apart from these readings, and I'm not like other fans who spend all day, just looking at social media or anything like that either. So I'm not saying every fan's like that. I'm just saying, there are some fans who have that freedom to do so. I'm not one of them. Okay, so put this back until we're ready for it. Actually, we don't use this anymore with the other two, do we? So, yeah, put it back. We now have their own cards to use. Anyway, it was interesting that these two cards came out with the new deck. And just how well they fit. Again, I was mind blown when I saw that. Not just the concept, but also the words. On Gulfs it says Destiny bestows. Definitely, he's putting it in Destiny's hands to walk away. And then here, immense energy is secretly gathering, really makes me think of, as I said, behind the scenes, under the surface, there is something going on. It may look to the world, it may look like, if Gulf really does this, it may look like that's it, that's the end. But secretly underneath, this is going to be the time of action, the time of triggering, the time of real change that's been called for a long time. The time that divine intervention is at its most active dealing. Anyway, next reading, not the one I'm about to do for the other two, but the next reading after that will be the monthly portraits. I think, damn, was he? I think, the 6th. I think we will do it on the 6th. Yeah. Okay, so look forward to that. On the 6th of... Hang on. Sorry, not the 6th. I'm looking at the wrong month. The 8th, I should say. Oh, the 8th. Interesting. Okay, so yes, on the 8th. We will do it on the 8th. Okay. So I'll leave it there, guys, and I will pack this all up properly, and then I will come back on for the other two, and we'll see what's going on after their so-called anniversary. Where are they at? We'll see. Alright. Waanjai, guys. Thank you for watching today, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.